Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said on Saturday that the state seeks to restructure the process of providing subsidies for Egyptians to eliminate not to eliminate the subsidies for various commodities, which amount to 275 billion Egyptian pounds annually. President al-Sisi made these remarks during a ceremony to inaugurate various housing projects in Badr City, northeast of the capital Cairo, where he is set to open 47,876 housing units. After the inaugural event, the president toured housing units which are being constructed in Badr City to accommodate state employees set to be relocated to the new administrative city. Of course, the president also added that the state bears a huge cost to provide alternative housing for Egyptians. This is all part of Egypt's comprehensive development strategy and part also of the Decent Life initiative, one of the greatest initiatives launched in Egypt's modern history. In order to know more about the importance of the initiative and the inauguration of new housing projects, we're very much honored to have with us here in the studio His Excellency Ambassador Ayoub Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister of Commercial. Very good morning to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good morning to you and to the Decent Life.
Well, to start with, our first question, would you talk to us about the state's efforts and projects that have led the country to sustainable development, especially when it comes to eradicating slum areas? These projects have been running for years, and we have seen President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inaugurating several housing projects furnished. We have seen people moving from slum areas, from Izdilzal area, from so many slums around the country, to decent buildings that are furnished with gardens, with sports grounds for the children, comprehensive projects, not just housing projects, comprehensive housing projects.
This is something which you are proud of.
Yes.
When we look to the people, the less advantaged people, and give them the priority in our development projects, this means that the government is taking care of all its citizens, beginning with the less advantaged, or will I say poor community, poor segment of the community. When we are giving them accommodation, that is residence and decent life in the new buildings, we are changing their life from minus to plus. That is to say, we are enabling them to have better education, better health, and enabling them also to be a productive factor in the community, which is very important. We need to change them from the minus to plus, and this is what is happening now. We need to change them from consumers to producers. We are all consumers, of course, but let it be consumers and producers at the same time.
Strike a balance.
A balance. So we are adding value. This value addition is very important to the economy, and even to every individual. When we are seeing that the government is taking care of his needs, especially in the slum area. There were about 15 slum areas around Egypt 10 years ago. Now they are being liquidated, and you are transporting and transferring people to decent life or decent accommodation for them, with decent buildings and decent residence. This give them enthusiasm to work better and love their country and do the best, and let them look to the positive part of their lives, not the negative part.
Yes.
Let them be positive persons, which is very important for them, for the families, for the community, and for the economy, which is very important for us all. When they are changing, we are changing from consumers to producers. Then we are adding to the national economy, and we are raising the standard of living, which is the aim. Raising the standard of living of every citizen, beginning with the less advantaged or poorer segments of the community. It's very important for today and for tomorrow, because tomorrow even the students or pupils in the schools, when see the president is giving them this chance to better life, they will be better citizens, and they will do their best to increase their productivity and their capabilities as citizens, with the good accommodation and good residence and better education and better health environment for them all.
Ambassador Ayoub, these projects are comprehensive, and it focuses not only on providing housing units or eradicating literacy, for example, but also providing proper infrastructure. And developing the infrastructure is a major part of these projects. How do you see this?
The infrastructure, will I say, it is the backbone of any development. We have seen during the last 4 or 5 years several infrastructure projects, whether in roads, in electricity, and so on, which enables the economy to work properly, and also enabled the investors to work in a better environment, and more importantly, enable the citizens to move freely and quickly and economically, and at the same time enabling them to be a productive factor in the community, which is very important. As far as when we have the roads, the bridges, the electricity, 24 hours, 7 days a week. This something is, will I say, relatively new to the Egyptians, because we have seen time before that it was not like this.
Yes.
When we are seeing them that they are enabled to be a productive force, being better life for them, this will enable them, every citizen of them, to work better and work for his own advantage and for the advantage of the community, which is very important. That every citizen should know that what the government is doing for him, it is for the family and for the community and for the economy as a whole, and they need to be cooperative and receptive of the new ideas of the government, which enable them to live in a better places and a better accommodation for each one of them.
How do you see the housing initiative for all Egyptians and establishing the 4th generation of cities in the Sustainable Development Goals 2030? Now Egypt is establishing the 4th generation, or the new generation of cities. How do you see that?
When we are seeing this 4th generation of the new cities, these are more economical and to the point what is needed by the family. Small, there's not all the buildings which are, a lot of this space was not properly used. Now we are focusing what are the needs and satisfying these needs. This saves time, saves effort, and saves money for the budget and for each family. It is very important that this 4th generation accommodation or residence or housing is better in the long run and even in the short term. What is more important is that all the new buildings should be occupied in some way. When we see that many new buildings are occupied by the people who lived in slum areas, and we are changing their lives. We are changing their attitude to life and to the country as a whole. We are changing them from pessimistic to optimistic, from negative to positive, and from people who wait to be helped.
And from passive to active.
Yes,
they are now playing a role.
They are playing a better role for the community and for the economy as a whole. We are always speaking about economy because it is very important that every citizen knows and feels and enjoys raising his standard of living, and also it is reflected on employment, which is very important for us. Better employment, that is, we have seen lower unemployment rates in the last few years, although we had COVID. Still, there is a better employment rate and far less unemployment rate. This is very important as far as economy is concerned. Every citizen, and this 4th generation residence on the housing, is changing the attitude of people, how they use what they have, how they better use what is available for them as far as housing is concerned. Many people, and we know that, do not use all the 4 rooms which they rent or they own. They use just 2 of them. The new housing projects which we have seen in Badr City and the other cities are a good example of how the government is putting everything in the right place so that they can enjoy their life and be a productive force in the economy.
Sir, to what extent do you see the importance of the Decent Life Initiative in developing housing, education, eradicating illiteracy, improving services, providing better life in general for the citizens?
You said eradication of illiteracy. or better education for the people. When we see that several civil society organizations are working in literacy, for example, they are helping the government to do what can be done in a better way and at no cost for the government, but at the cost for these NGOs. When they are helping the government in this way, we need the cooperation of the all segments, especially for the NGOs, to help the government or to play the role in a better life for the, whether in education or health or even creating better job opportunities, employment opportunities, and trying to use the available resources or better use of the available resources, which is very important. It is a matter of good management or better administration of what we have, and we have a lot. And we are better using it in a better way now, starting from housing and from the infrastructure, which you have seen during the last 6 or 7 years.
Yes, but also what's special about the initiative is, like you mentioned kindly, Ambassador Ayoub, is that everyone is involved. It's not just a state initiative. The NGO or the NGOs are involved, of course, they have access to all the poor areas around the country.
Yes.
The private sector is involved.
Yes.
Celebrities are even
Yes.
promoting and talking about the campaign, because this is another part, because normal people, they are attached to celebrities, and
Yes.
so when they see them talking about, they feel that this is something that is actually
They are
involving
icons and
everyone.
yes.
It's involving everyone, every Egyptian. Let's say the private sector, the civil society, the celebrities, the rich people, the poor people, the middle class people. So everyone is involved in this initiative.
And the investors.
And the investors,
And
of
the
course.
investors. When we see that celebrities, NGOs, investors, the civil society, all of them, they are cooperating to create a better environment for better development and better living conditions for all Egyptians. When we are seeing the celebrities, they are icons. They are attracting the attention of the people when they are going to these new residential areas and opening the house and see how it is well suited to a small family or big family. And they are also educating, which is very important, educating people how to better use what they have. This is very important.
The available resources.
Yes, better maintain it, because it is their own. It is their own. It is a private ownership, so they will take care of it in a better way. And of course, they should pay for it in some way or other. Should pay for it, because when they pay, they feel that it belongs to them, and they take better care of it. Many NGOs, as you mentioned, and also in the investors, when they are seeing that the new residential areas are created, it creates also for them better job opportunities, and enables them to create jobs, new jobs in the new areas. Many of them establish their factories in the new areas, because the residential area is very near to their factories, and all this saves time and effort, and it is very economical for them. Many investors are looking to the Badr city and the other cities and new administrative capital, because it is a hub, attractive hub for the investors. And we are seeing that when we go to the new administrative capital and see the buildings there, so many buildings, the construction is very, very active, and the employees who are working there are now sure that they have better accommodation very near in Badr city and the adjacent cities, so that they can focus on their jobs, not on looking for the transportation and for the housing and so on.
And save time as well.
Yes, it is quite suited to their needs and at a reasonable cost, which is very important.
Yes. Sir, the Decent Life Initiative also focuses on health. It's a very important part, together with education. But health is a major part of the initiative. How do you see that?
Two main pillars of any country, of any economy, are health and education. When we are seeing the country, the government is doing a very good job as far as health is concerned, this means that the citizen is sure that if he fell sick, or falls ill, he will be covered by the Ministry of Health and the other organizations who are doing a wonderful job within their own means. And also the NGOs should also play a role in this place, in this area, because the government cannot do everything at the same moment. So the NGOs, the investors, and the private sector have a role to play as far as health is concerned, and we are very pleased that many pharmaceutical companies are established now in Egypt. Most of them are importing good part of the inputs, but more companies, we are creating a competitive community for which will be reflected positively on the consumers or the end users.
Yes. The initiative also aims at creating job opportunities for the youth, focusing particularly on creating job opportunities for the youth. How do you see that?
Creating job opportunities is the main or the backbone of any development project or any process. When we are seeing that the new generation, the youth, and especially the women, are having better access to services and better access to employment opportunities, and they are doing a wonderful job as far as making use of what is available, and that is very important. When the new generation are putting their effort, and we have seen that in several conferences for the youth, 3 or 4 of them, we are seeing bright examples of what they have. They are look to their country. It will be tomorrow will be far better than today, and it needs all the hands of the youth, of the women, and of the elderly people to let us cooperate together to make it a better place to live.
I would take it from here. Let's focus about women. The role of women,
right. Yes,
of course. The role of, because you mentioned youth, you mentioned the elderly,
yes.
It's the involvement of everyone. But how do you see the role of women in sustainable development projects?
We all know that women have a vital role in any development projects, from the time of Pharaohs until now. They have a role to play, and they play it very well, and this is very important. That is why we should focus on the youth, and especially on the women. Why? Because they are the hub. They are nucleus, which enables even the small community, that is the family, to work better when she is educated. That is why we focus on education or literacy of women. That is one thing. Other thing, giving them microcredits. We have seen several projects, microcredit projects, especially in the countryside, for the women, to enable them raise money in an honorable way and raise a good family and enable them to educate their children. We are very pleased to this, especially in the countryside, whether in the Upper Egypt or in Lower Egypt, so in the countryside, in the villages. Many NGOs are going there to create better environment. Why? I give you an example. When one NGO goes to, for example, to Fayoum or Etsa in Fayoum, and giving the deprived or less privileged family or poor families a buffalo, a pregnant buffalo, for example. We have seen that in Etsa and Fayoum. 50 families got 50 buffaloes, and to enable them to raise income for them and live a decent life, but on condition that they will not slaughter the buffalo, of course, or the buffalo or the cow. Mostly it was buffaloes. And after 1 year, we go to see the change in the standard of living, and how they are changing from pessimistic and negative to optimistic and positive. This is a big change which the NGOs are playing as far as women is concerned, and as far as the countryside is concerned, and as far as the economy as a whole.
Because they participate in small and medium projects, so it's part of the economy, yes, macroeconomy.
When we are giving them a small amount of money for microcredit, we help them in marketing. We help them in production process, and we help them in better living condition and better health condition for the family.
Definitely.
After 1 year or a small time, we find that they are changing their attitude, and even how they look, how they are smiling. We have seen this in El Fayoum, in Etsa, in other places, in Bahira and in Bani Suef, when we have created small credits and minor projects for the small families, so that they can earn their living without lending,
Yes.
extending the hand. They are
Yes.
not begging.
Yes.
They are working, not begging.
Yes,
And we are very
definitely.
pleased to see this.
Yes. I'd like to thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial. Thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. It is a decent life for us all.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. More coming up here on this edition of The Breakfast Show.